Well, Andrea Bartha is the new sporting director of Arsenal, awaiting announcement, but everything is done and dusted. And guess what? We've now started to get hints on who or on which players Andrea Bartha wants to bring in at Arsenal. We all know to it that the striker is the primary target, and we've gotten to know to it that he wants to sign Bruno Guimarães in the mix. We're also talking about Carl Palmer and Harry Kane. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on the stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rokani David is my name and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And this is the channel that brings you your latest news and information for all your football teams, excluding Manchester United. Let's see close to 100 likes smashed onto this video. Now, Arsenal is one of those sides that are yet to announce their new sporting director, but we've obviously gone ahead to get in hints from sources on who they are really looking at. And he told us the following, that Andrea Bartha wants to sign Bruno Guimarães as well as Martin Zubimendi, and his first decision as Arsenal sporting director. As his first decision as an Arsenal sporting director. Newcastle have an agreement to let Bruno Guimarães leave for around £60 million if they do not qualify for the Champions League this season. Now, you've heard it well, you know. The side of Arsenal have been interested, all picked interest in signing Bruno Guimarães, you know, from when he was still playing in League One till now, when he joined the Premier League. Arsenal have been showing intent to obviously sign in Bruno Guimarães at their club. Now, the new sporting director of Arsenal, who is yet to be announced, wants to bring in two midfielders, and that is Guimarães and Zubimendi. Now, Zubimendi has been on the talk of Arsenal and the list, and we are told by journalists that Arsenal have gone ahead to agree personal terms with Zubimendi in the winter transfer window. That was January this year, and we're all like, oh, he might be coming to the club of Arsenal. And now, for that, it was a deal that was already agreed, but a deal that no one was thinking about, that Arsenal would go back for this player, has obviously resurfaced. And Andrea Bartha has come in through and obviously pointed at Bruno Guimarães because he believes that that midfield of Arsenal needs to be revamped. And if you're going to hate to see Bruno Guimarães' performances, I think he's one of those that have always been hinting on, as he can obviously revolutionize the midfield of Arsenal. And it's like, if they don't qualify for the Champions League, the player is free to leave. The player is free to leave at £60 million. That is it. Now, when you look at Newcastle, they are 2 points behind the fourth place team, that is Chelsea, and they're having the same points with the team of Man City. Now, if you're an Arsenal fan, all your prayers should be Newcastle shouldn't obviously qualify for the Champions League, because if they do, then it will be hard for the player to leave. That means Bruno Guimarães wants to play in the Champions League. You understand? And he has put up a very huge fight to see to it that his team really does the needful. But does Arsenal need Bruno Guimarães? I tell you, they do, because the future of Thomas Partey and Jorginho is really uncertain. You understand? That means if you are to let Bruno Guimarães leave, one, and if you are to let Jorginho leave, one, two, if you are to let Partey leave, those are two. That means you need to reinforce that midfield, and they're like, they should get in Bruno Guimarães and Zubimendi. I think Bruno Guimarães coming in through at Arsenal at £60 million, that will be an absolute steal for the club of Arsenal. For any club in the Premier League that is obviously going to be getting this guy at £60 million, it will be an absolute steal. But that means that is only for clubs that are obviously going to be playing in the Champions League. And I think Arsenal has a very huge chance to play in the Champions League again. And by the way, Guimarães will be a perfect fit for this club of Arsenal. But my question is, if you're having Guimarães, Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Mikel Merino, how are you obviously gonna really how are you obviously gonna come up and obviously try to obviously play around with them, because 4 serious midfielders and you'll only need 2, Guimarães in the 6 and Declan Rice in an 8. Odegaard is already the 10. That means Merino and Zubimendi will have to fight to find space to play. And will Martin Zubimendi say, I'm going to Arsenal again after agreeing personal terms with Arsenal in the January transfer window, if at all he's being told that Bruno Guimarães is coming in through? Because when you look at these players, Guimarães and Declan Rice look like they're really undroppable. So we are waiting to see what final decision Arsenal will make on this, but hopingly Bartha has a reason, and he's a player that Mikel Arteta has always wanted, but I don't know whether Arsenal will be having the budget to bring in all these players, because if you are to pay £50 million for Zubimendi, 60 for Bruno Guimarães, that is 110, then close to 60 to 70 million pounds for Benjamin Šeško, right? That is close to 200 million pounds. Will Arsenal really spend 200 million pounds? Because they have to spend to obviously gain back the trust from their fans, because the fans of Arsenal lost trust in their owners because they failed to bring in a forward that was so much needed for Arsenal to obviously go up and really compete for the Champions League and also the trophy of the Premier League. That's exactly what Arsenal has gone ahead obviously put onto the paper. So we are waiting to see how Andre Bartha will obviously get these 3 deals done, but obviously it will depend on whether Newcastle qualifies for the Champions League or not. When you look at the fixtures of Newcastle, they have to play. Newcastle is left with, I think, 10 games. They have to play Brentford, they have to play Leicester, they have to play Man United, they have to play Crystal Palace, they have to play Aston Villa, they have to play Newcastle, they have to play Arsenal. It's going to be their second last fixture. That means Arsenal will have a chance to obviously stop them from not obviously qualifying for the Champions League, because in that queue they also have Chelsea in there. So their fixtures are not all that easy, and I think they'll really stand a very big chance of not qualifying for the Champions League. But with Alexandra Isak firing in goals, the Gordons of this world and the Guimarãeses, they're really looking good to go. Now, let's go to Owen Hargreaves. After Harry Kane came up and obviously scored another goal in the Champions League as they knocked out Bayern Leverkusen, Hargreaves said, Kane has always had this level, but he probably got tired of not winning trophies. Last season, he was really unlucky. This year, he's going to win one. But can he win the big one? Can he win the Champions League? Then he puts himself in the Ballon d'Or debate. Obviously, this season, whoever is obviously going to be winning the Champions League is going to be the number 1 contender of the Champions League and will stop on the podium. When you look at Harry Kane, he's playing for the side of Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich have gone ahead, obviously, see to it that they're really doing good in the league. And all I want to confirm to you is that they are really topping the league. You understand? They are topping the league of the Bundesliga. They're having 61 points in 25 games. They're 8 points clear. That means they are really good to go, and they're really working hard to see to it that they really put in a shift. I think they're left with 10 games to go, and we don't know whether Bayern Leverkusen will obviously give them a chance. Now, for that, it looks like all that is done for them. But in the Champions League, they still have to play Inter Milan. Can they overcome Inter Milan? And when they overcome Inter Milan, they'll face the winner between Barcelona and Dortmund. So it's still a hard journey for them. And I think they'll need a lot. Because last season, they knocked out on the semi-finals by a team called Real Madrid. And by the way, they won the first leg. They drew. I think they drew the first leg, and they came in and really took a lead for very many minutes, and they lost that game around the 80th minute, you know? So, that is exactly what Owen Hargreaves thinks about Harry Kane. If Harry Kane can take the side of Bayern Munich to winning the Champions League, obviously, he will step on the podium and he'll win a Ballon d'Or, because we don't have anything like international football, and there is the Club World Cup where Bayern Munich is obviously going to participate, and Harry Kane can go there and really perform well. In the Champions League, 11 games, 10 goals and 2 assists. In the Bundesliga, 23 games, 21 goals. That is Harry Kane for you, meaning that he has gone ahead to play 34 games. He has 31 goals and 8 assists. So his goal involvement is really more than the number of games he has gone ahead to play this season. That is Harry Kane for you. So that's exactly how the side of Bayern Munich are really performing, and we all know to it that they'll do the needful and see to it that all goes on well as planned for that side in there. Now, Joko, who is one of the players that really looked well at Chelsea, has come up and obviously had something to say about Kyle Palmer. And in his words, this is what he had to say about Kyle Palmer. He said he will have loads of spells like this in his career, of which he's right. And what spells is he talking about? Those spells of not really scoring in goals, you know, those goal droughts. And he's like, he just needs to be calm and smooth. He looks like the coolest man in the room. It could be affecting him, but the dry spell will end, hopefully on Sunday against Arsenal. So he's like, against Arsenal, he might obviously rise up to the occasion and obviously beat the side of Arsenal and see to it that he's the main man. He's the main reason as to why they've gone ahead to obviously win that game as a club of Chelsea. And Chelsea knows to it that with Kyle Palmer on, all switched on, a lot can happen. But I know he has 14 goals in the Premier League. He has taken very many games without scoring. But I know he'll obviously come to the end of all this all. You understand? That is Kyle Palmer for you. So guys, I don't know what your thoughts are, but Arsenal is playing Chelsea on Sunday, and it's really going to be a highly heated up game into what we call the Premier League. Remember, Chelsea is really one of those teams that is they are placed fourth, and they're really willing to put in a very huge performance to seal that position. Remember, they want to play in the Champions League, and they're really working tooth and nail to see to it that they obviously clinch that. So your reactions to Arsenal's new sporting director wanting to sign Bruno Guimarães are welcome in the comment section below. And your thoughts on to Harry Kane. Do you think he can win the Champions League? Can Bayern Munich go past Inter Milan and even go past Barcelona? And then lastly, when is Kyle Palmer going to get up and running again? Do you think he's obviously going to come out and obviously illuminate the side of Arsenal? All that and more into the comment section below. First video of the day. More stories are really coming in through. I'm returning, I think, with the match preview. Arsenal versus Chelsea. Big game to be played at the Emirates Stadium. And after that game, we head into the international break. I'm out.